G'day everyone, it's T-Nick here in Transport Fever, which appears to be slightly more dated. What I'm actually in is OpenTTD, which is a open source clone of the original game Transport Tycoon Deluxe, which came out in the 1990s, and I wasted many hours playing this game back in the day, back in the good old days when games were games and men were men, and etc. etc. This is a fairly intense transport sort of simulator, predating all of the modern ones that we have today. And I think it holds up. Obviously, the graphics are a bit dated. At the time, they were pretty good. You know, very simple isometric graphics. They didn't sort of overreach, which I think was what made it so good. It gained sort of a cult following in the last couple of decades, and you've still got people working on it today. I mean, OpenTTD is still updated. We're running version 1.8 at the moment, but you've also got, you know, people make new graphics, new industries, new everything really. So we're going to be playing with a few of those new graphics. Let's see if I can get them up on screen now. Is that going to work? Ignore these ones over here. So yeah, we've got a UK theme going on here. But we've got a few things in here that will be apparent if you've played the game before. If you haven't, well, just sit back and enjoy the ride. But we are going to start a new game in the temperate map because, well, temperate is just what we're all used to. It's probably what works best with the new graphics. I mean, the snow and the desert, they're all right. You know, they're good scenarios, but it's just temperate is the original and the best. So you can see the starting stats I have on screen. And yeah, we're just going to hit the generate button and see what happens. Boom, look at that. No need for a loading screen because, well, you know, this game's a bit older. So let's have a bit of a scroll around the map and see what we're in store for. I like this sort of island over here. The large expanses of water will hopefully force us into using ships and planes because traditionally this has been a very train-dominated game. You know, you see these people that create these massive, intricate networks with 50 bazillion trains running. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are, and that just does my head in. It's just too complicated for my simple brain. So I like to keep things simple. I like a good map that encourages a bit of challenge. I mean, it looks like we've got a fair few towns on the map. I have kept industry generation very low because I find as the game spawns industries, they can sort of really start clogging the place up, making it a bit too easy. So we will be doing a lot of passenger transport. I like to try and connect up every possible town. What do we have down here in the way of industries? We've got a steel mill, so he wants iron ore and coal, and if we bring up the industry chain here, we can sort of see what he does. So he wants coal and iron ore, and he turns that into steel, obviously, which goes to a factory. Factories will take steel, lumber, and plastic, creating goods which will go to houses, and I can't click on houses because obviously they're not an industry. Really didn't think that one through. So yeah, the coal to a steel mill is an option there, but we still need to find iron ore to supply, so maybe not. And we've also got a farm here producing grain and livestock, but nowhere to take that. Over here we have a brickworks, which needs a clay pit and or gravel pit. Although here we go, we've got iron ore over here. So if we were to create a line sort of down tracing these towns here, it wouldn't be a sort of a long-term solution. If anything, it'd be a medium-term solution, which wouldn't be too bad. We've also got a steel mill down here. We've got a forest stuff here. We got, what's this over here? That's just some rocks. Good work, me. Another iron ore mine there. I'm sort of looking for some low-hanging fruit. This might be worth looking at. We've got a forest here from New Bunthwaite. We've got a couple of sawmills down here which produce goods and lumber, and New Bunthwaite would... it's a city too, so that's going to grow at, I think, double the speed of a normal town. That looks like it has plenty of sort of decent town buildings in it. Maybe not. that look like they will accept. I'm just going to do a quick check here. Accept goods. They will. So we might have an early production chain there in New Brunswick. Also, we have a factory there too, which will accept the lumber and turn that into goods. So that might be an option. Having a look around the top part of the map, a couple of coal mines. Got some oil wells here. Nothing really spectacular. We've got another city there. That's good. Remind me to put the word city in the actual names so I can tell from a distance. Now, what do we got? We've got a couple of oil refineries down here. I keep forgetting when I scroll with the mouse that it goes the wrong way to the way I'm expecting. Food processing plant. No farm on that island, of course. Another island over here we can link up. That's nice. Oh, good. We've got another couple of forests and a sawmill here. And now this is the one I'm looking for, a power station. Now, does anyone see a coal mine within cooey of it? No. No, okay. Because coal is arguably one of the, well, I don't know if it's arguable, it is the most profitable cargo in the game. Let's see if I can find the cargo payment list. That's not it. That's not it. No, go away. It's here somewhere. No, I haven't even named my company yet. Cargo payment rates. Here we go. So if you look at coal and compare it to sort of the other cargoes, it is even over some of the more processed things like goods. I mean, over time, goods lose value a lot quicker than coal does. But I mean, come on, it's gravel doesn't seem to work. Maybe gravel didn't load. I don't know. The problem with using multiple different new graphic sets is you often end up with see, steel is comparable to coal, but obviously we need to produce steel first. Valuables being a bit of a class of their own. And no, I want to click on wood. Yeah, so as you can see, coal is the most profitable cargo we can transport. Problem is we sort of don't have anywhere we can transport the coal. I mean, we could run the coal down to this steel mill here, but without iron ore, which is all the way up here, we're going to find we get a backlog of coal at the steel mill and things will go wrong. Everything will start backing up. But with that said, I do think we should start in this part of the world here. I mean, these two towns are so close together, they're just going to merge into one. We've got a good option for a passenger line sort of running up along the coast here, up through Treepool, which is not a city, and Nindingstone, which is also not a city, St. Breadcrumbs. Yeah, so look, we've got some good cargo options, and then eventually, if the factory stays open, we can run the steel all the way up here to Acham. Don't know how English that pronunciation was, but it was definitely a thing that was said. So yeah, I think we're going to kick off with passengers. Are you called Ronding Goose? No, Ronding Door. No, I'm not very good at reading, apparently. Yeah, so look, I think we've got a couple of hills, but I think we can manage a line sort of up in this direction to start with. We'll probably start linking these two towns up and go from there. But enough waffling, we should set up our company. Let's just get our standard face loaded up. None of the faces are very flattering. Like really not very flattering. Stick with green for now. We can choose to color code everything later. I am of course Teenic. I didn't mean to put a space in there. I don't know why. Teenic. And our company name will be Teenic Logistics, because it's really not going to be apparent once I hit this close window, so it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. Boom, gone, problem solved. Now we're going to want to set up for the future here in Seesaw Springs and Teed Grove Rivers. There's a river down here, not up here. Bad town naming. We're just going to call you Teed Grove. And we'll call you Seesaw. No, Seesaw. Because it's just easier. Yeah, so we'll set up a station with an eye towards heading, I'm going to say south. We're going to decide north is up. What's the map say? The map doesn't have a compass on it. Well done. So we'll set up with an eye towards heading south towards Garfield and Ronding Goose, or whatever the hell it's called, and Dunberg Bay. But we will be heading sort of northeast to start with. So We've got a few different platform options, a couple of buildings available. This is a new graphic set. It also comes with some freight stations which we can use, and I've also got another freight station set down here. So we've got plenty of options for building things. I can build really big modern marshalling yards apparently, but I can't build an office. Okay, well that's probably an oversight. But we are building passengers, so we will start with a station building. Now these are all German style, so obviously because we're using English trains, the German style probably won't mesh, but I'm going to run with it because they look pretty. So we need to make sure we can catch sort of both areas with the one station, so I'm going to sort of drop that in. We can turn the catchment area on so you can see where it's going to draw from. So if we sort of build the station down this way, we'll be able to catch a fair bit. I'm going to build a decent sized station building. That annoys me. Yeah. Not allowed while paused. Okay, unpause the game dummy, then play. So we'll plop a station building down there. That's Seesaw Station. I'm going to build it larger than I normally would, just because I want it to sort of catch both towns. We'll put some benches down, people can sit. So yeah, look, hopefully if we bring that annoying catchment area up, we're not really catching much of Teed Grove yet, but as the town expands, hopefully we will. Now we'll bookmark out a bit of track on either side here. Towns are not allowed to build level crossings. Bugger off, you've clearly blocked me. So we will limit the town's growth with our railway line in the case of Teed Grove, but I'm hoping that will encourage it to sort of push up this way, and if we allow them to cross the tracks here, in fact I might just run that back like that, build a bridge over there. That's a nice little concrete bridge, isn't it? That's pretty. Nice little cobblestone street. We can definitely control how the town is going to grow. We will definitely run into a problem later where I want to put more tracks on here and the town has engulfed the station, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it? No, it's not. No, it's awful. It's a pain in the ass. So we'll chuck in a couple of tracks here. And whoop, you're going to see that a lot. I'm going to be building tracks where I shouldn't be because I misclick, because I get a bit excited. Now we're going to want path signals here. And we'll want a one-way path signal there. Because, shut up, I have my reasons. Now, we are going to Dintchester. Apparently that's a town name. That's the thing we have now. Dintchester. Let's see, without bulldozing anything, it looks like we're going to be building our station up on the hill here, because the towns, okay, they don't know I exist yet. We'll go to a town that knows I exist and probably has the shits with us. Okay, they think I'm good. Seesaw thinks we're good. So the town will, if you haven't played this before, judge you. The town will judge you based on how many trees you knock down, how many roads you destroy, and how many buildings you destroy. I mean, roads, they pretty much ignore. But they really don't like you knocking down buildings, and in fact they will actually, if I hold down shift, do not try this at home. Yeah, so even though I'm rated good, they won't let me knock down their church, so they place more emphasis on some buildings over others. So if I wanted to knock over this farm, they're fine with that. Again, you know, road in the middle of town they might object to, but in this case they don't. So they will judge you. The easiest thing you can do is knock over a lot of trees and get the town offside. So I always like to build the stations first when I'm building a new route, just to ensure that I don't knock down too many trees en route and piss off the town. So up here, we'll turn that back off again. That's going to get annoying fast. Put a nice little bridge in here. We'll need to put a station building in. Let's just put this one in. That looks all right. And we'll just put a little platform in with a nice little planter box there. Now, if I drag a straight line, swish, that worked out far better than expected. So we will just connect this up. We'll just do single track for now because I anticipate we won't be having too many trains. We'll be driving on the left because this is simulated England. And we will be having... Nope, I just said we're driving on the left. I don't want that signal. I will put a path signal in there and there, though, to allow following trains to, well, follow. Now, trains come out of a depot. Good thing I've already built one of those. I have turned servicing off because I've turned breakdowns off. I'm fairly sure. Let's pull up the ridiculously complicated settings window. Disable servicing when breakdown set to none. That's fine. Let's have a look. Vehicle breakdowns is set to none. I don't like having to service my trains because I can set it up as realistically as possible to send them into a depot and back out again, but it's still they just clog up. It's very annoying. So we'll only use the depot to build and sell trains. Now this British sort of rail set, UK rail set it's called, has a lot of options. Like there is a train for every occasion. Literally, I've taken trains to weddings. I've had trains at birthday parties. It's just it's crazy. So we've got a few options. Looking at passengers, we can build the 422 spinner, which is a steam train, which is very helpful. It's suitable for express passenger. So is the 222 lady. As you can see, a bit of a different top speed there, 96 over 112. The carriages we can build are limited to 112, so that itself isn't a problem, unless we want to build the piddly little compartment coach. Or we could go for a tank wagon. Tank wagon? A tank engine, rather. But he is limited to 64, so I don't think we want to build him. And these ones up here are sort of older, sort of starting year is 1875, so sort of pre-1860. Vintage trains. But yeah, this set starts all the way back in 1830, so it's recommended you start the game around 1850, I think, but you could in theory start it in 1831 and you can build the Planet, and I think there's a suitable four-wheel coach as well. But as we've got an eye towards extending this line up to Farnwell, Ginstock Heath, Treepool. Where's our nearest city? Is it St Breadcrumbs? No. It's probably up here in New Bunthwaite. So we'll probably end up building a line up to New Bunthwaite because it's a funny town that I will inevitably rename so I can remember that we are serving it. So Dintchester is our first destination. Let's go future-proof. Let's get a spinner for £20,000. Given we started off with 100 grand, we're still only halfway through our money. That's not too bad. Build a mail coach for some baggage holding. And we'll build a couple of passenger carriages. Now, what you're looking at in the depot here, I like that they've added these dotted lines here. If they do what I think they do, and I'm pretty sure they do because of... I said they do too many times. Do. What we've got here is a number here. This 1.8 shows us how many tiles on the map it takes up. In the original game of Transport Tycoon, every train carriage was half a tile, so you knew that building a loco and a carriage was 1 tile, a loco and 3 was 2 tiles, etc., etc. However, with the custom graphics, everything has a slightly different length to keep it more realistic, because early passenger carriages were just as long as a massive freight hopper. So it is helpful to have this number, and it looks like they've added dotted lines into the game so you can visually see how long your train will be. I've got a tooltip going on there. So 3 passenger carriages should be fine to start with. Each passenger and mail wagon has a running cost, so we don't want to be building too many from the get-go. We want to instead send the train back to the depot as we need more capacity. So we will send you to Seesaw. Now, I am going to tell you to service at the depot. The train won't actually complete that order. What that order means is if servicing was turned on, after stopping at Seesaw, he would have a bit of a check. If he's due for a service, he'd go into the depot. If he's not due for a service, he would go on to order number 3, which is to go to Dintchester. I've got to stop using the mouse to scroll around because it throws me. Just use the arrow keys. But what that does is that effectively tells this train which depot he belongs to, so if you want to upgrade him, he should be able to find his way back. But enough waffling, start the train! And zoom in a bit. That's probably too much. I don't have sound turned on because it annoys me, because every time something cashes in, it goes cha-ching! And late game when you've got a lot of trains and a lot of buses, and it's just a lot of ka-chinging, and it annoys the hell out of me. So he is now underway. He is carrying a solid nothing. It will take a little while because I've got one of the settings turned on that cargo does not start appearing at stations until it's actually got somewhere to go. In the original game, you would build a station next to a coal mine, and the coal mine would go, "Oh, hi, transport company, here's some coal." You know, maybe it was a passenger station and the coal mine just happened to be in town. But no, there's a big old pile of coal at your station whether you like it or not. And of course that brings your station rating down. If you haven't played this game before, it has a very complicated algorithm, probably, that rates how good your station is. So this is like a Yelp rating for your station. So it is dependent on how much cargo is waiting versus the age of your rolling stock. So if you're using quite an old train and you've got a lot of cargo waiting, I believe the rating will drop. Whereas if you have a brand new train and very little cargo waiting, the game thinks you've got a very good service. You used to be able to trick this by having a train loading with one coal wagon and a bunch of passenger cars, and because the passenger cars were full but the coal wagon could never fill up, you would get a really good rating because the game always thought there was a passenger train sitting in the station. But we have passengers starting to come in, wanting to go between Seesaw and Dintchester, I think it was called. Dintchester it is! What do you think of me? You think I'm good. That's excellent, because I'm going to plough some more trees out of the way in short order. But hopefully this chap's going to chuff back and forth. I will just extend his catchment area with a bus stop, because you can see this will extend our area by probably, if we built it, you know, if the station has the same catchment area, probably about 2. So I'm just going to throw a bus stop down in town there. To attach stations together, you simply hold control when building the station. If anyone has any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask. I've been playing this game like a native for, well, 20 years, and the rest. So a lot of things come naturally to me that might not be apparent if you are not familiar with it. We've still got 40 grand burning a hole in our pocket, and of course we are paying interest on our loan. I've also turned infrastructure payments on, so we're going to have to be very careful about building too much railway too quickly, because we're paying 72 whatever pounds a year for 131 pieces of rail. Which is fine because we're using them, but if we're not using them, we're going to be paying for rail that we're not using. I'll stick our loan window up there for now, and I'll stick the transparency options up there too, just because we will be using those. Now, how are you going for money? Are you cashing in? You are? You're still losing money. Passengers will lose money early game, regrettably. But, you know, they do come into their own later on. I could build a feeder bus service from Teed Grove up to Seesaw to get a few more people on our train. What do we have available in terms of... we've got the steam bus available. That does 6 k's an hour. Or the 6-horse carriage, which does 32 k's an hour. Quick horses. But carries 10 passengers versus 8 What? Why would you ever build a steam bus when you can build a 6-horse carriage? Regardless, that's all a completely theoretical exercise. It's trains or go home, because road vehicles in this game can be a massive pain in the backside when it comes time to renew 50 billion of them. So instead, I would like to extend our train down to Farnwell. One thing I will just check to make sure is turned on. Yes, I've got passenger destinations turned on, so in the original game people would just get on a train and get off at the first station. So anyone going from Seesaw Station would all get off at Dintchester regardless of where the railway line went. They would also get on the first train that showed up. So I could have a wonderful express train from Seesaw all the way up to New Bunthwaite, because people might want to go to the city. And they would, if that train didn't show up first, they would just get on the first train, which would dump them in Dintchester, which, let's be honest, probably doesn't offer them much in the way of shopping. It's got a pub. No, okay, no, I can see the appeal now. I don't think Seesaw has a pub. No, it does, never mind. All good towns have a pub. Yep, Teed Grove have a pub. That is a pub, right? The Red Line, yep, nailed it. Whereas that's a cottage, that's a croft, that's a storage shed. Yeah, so Seesaw does not offer much to the casual traveller, unless you're one of the 99 people live in 2 houses, a church and a pub. Get the feeling that's taking a bit of creative license there. we should extend the railway line because you didn't come here to listen to me talk. Well, you kind of did, but you also came here to watch me play the game. So now I'm going to build the station out here. I know you're thinking, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What possible reason could you have to build the station all the way out there? To that I say future-proofing and mind your own business. No, I don't say that. That'd be rude, and I'm not a rude person. Now we will attach that to there. So we've got a bus stop there just to try and bring our station's accessibility into town a bit more. But I don't want to demolish this croft if I don't have to. I don't know. Does Lara live there? Does it raid tombs? What does it do? What's the point of a croft? But yeah, so I just want to make sure that we're not demolishing any town's buildings we don't need to. I wonder if I can draw a straight line here as well. Nah, that'd be too much to ask for. We will have to build a curve. In fact, I'm actually going to build it like this, just so no train is discriminated against coming into Dinchester. Both of them have to go through a turnout at some point. There we go. And we'll put this signal down here. So we will need to, I think it lines up if I do that. I didn't go one too far. Nope, that lines up perfectly. So we will connect up like that. We will throw down a couple of one-way signals because again we're planning for the future. And we have our next station lined up. You must be thinking, God, this game is easy. Even a child could play it. And I played it as a child, so you would be 100% right. So we'll now extend train number 1. Very good. He is now empty because no one at Dinchester knows that we have opened a train service up to Farnwell yet. So no one knows to catch train. But hopefully we will attract a few people from Seesaw, Teedgrove, Dinchester up to Farnwell because Farnwell has a couple of small office buildings. Sorry, a small office building and what appears to be a larger pub. I'm not arguing. It also has a church, which seems to be obligatory for most towns in this era. Yeah, which I like. I like that. It's quite realistic. And obviously no one in Farnwell knows we're running a train yet either. Did we get a news thing? Ooh, there is a new power station under construction. Absolutely nowhere near where we are. So that's helpful. Because power stations turn coal into money, basically. Ooh, we have a subsidiary offered. Subsidy, rather. Blech. First wood service from New Bunthwaite Forest to Connis Ridge Sawmill will attract a year's subsidy from the local authority. These pop up from time to time. The AI will randomly select a couple of industries close to each other with that news. There we go. So from there to there. Okay, good to know. And what they will do is they will pay an extra amount for 12 months if you set that service up. So stop using the mouse, you dummy. So I like that idea, but my concern is that this thing will stop producing goods if it gets too much wood. Nope, that's not right. It will stop producing goods if no one takes the goods away. That's what I'm concerned it'll do. So I can quite happily transport the wood down there, but then we'll have to transport it into New Bunthwaite, which will be difficult to do with trains. And I don't think we have the trucks to really make that work yet. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to keep going it tough with our passenger train down here. If only we had somewhere we could take the freight in this area too. It's a bit disappointing that we sort of don't have any options there. Now I'm considering connecting up Teedgrove with Dunberg Bay here. I'm assuming that's the name of this bay. But the problem is there is a farm in the way. Now farms have fields, but fields object very strongly to being bulldozed. So for example, if I was to build some track here, perfectly normal bit of land, £159. If I was to build it on the field, I don't know why it moved the message, but yeah, £528. So you're looking at a difference of nearly £400. So that's what? That's £1,200 there. That's £2,400 extra just to get 6 bits of track down. Yeah, don't see that as being feasible at this stage of the game. And to go around means going up and over a hill, and then we're so close to Garfield that there's probably no point. So we'll keep heading north for now. We'll obviously end up with a line from Dunberg Bay up to Jenningdore. Oh, Jenningdore is actually a city. That makes it slightly more tempting. I'm sure as heck not building a railway line from Farnwell to Jenningdore, though. These names are so stupid. Because that is one heck of a mountain range. Like, wow. That'd have snow on it if we were in the snow climate. Ginstock. Ooh, Ginstock Heath is a city. I also don't like that name either. So we'll call it Gin and Tonic. No, it's a stupid name for a city. We'll call it, I'll just call it Ginbury, I guess. And we'll add city to the name so we know it's a city when we look at it and we don't just think we're going past it to New Brunswick. Stupid name, stupid city so far away. But no, Jenningbury City has now become the target. We can then extend a line maybe around here, just around the mountain, because city to city, we're going to call you Jenningdore. We'll call you Jennydore City. No, that's a stupid name. We'll call you, I guess, Jenny City. That'll do. Named after Jenny, the founder. Because that way we can remember which towns we have served when we need to go look for them in this horrible town list. Although we do have a cute little coloured icon here to say whether they like us or not. Teedgrove likes us. Everyone else is sort of a bit cool on us. Still got 30 grand, so I reckon we head up to Ginbury City. Now, we need to plan ahead here. We're going to have a line going up this way. Probably have a line going out this way. Probably have a line going around this way. So we're going to be looking at sort of a multi. Stop using the mouse to scroll. It doesn't work. We're going to be looking at a multi-platform station here, probably with some terminal tracks and some non. So again, I like to plan ahead because as the game goes on, more trees get planted, and as I said before, towns hate it when you knock trees down. So I'll put a couple of dead-end platforms there. Might get rid of this road here just to make life a bit easier. We'll chuck in a couple of platforms for through trains, I reckon. Oh, I need to put another buffer stop in first. Yeah, so we'll bookmark this area as where we're going to build our station and then probably move it later. So I'll pop that down like that. I'll pop a sort of a footbridge in. Station building, what are we looking at? Actually, let's make it fancy from the get-go. Let's go all out here. No expense will be spared. Which one haven't we built yet? I think we've built this fun-looking number. We'll pop you over by the street, I guess. No, we'll pop you here in the corner. There we go. And of course, because it's now connected up to a platform, that's helpfully changed that over. Just put a bit of a roof in here, I guess. Not a roofie, just a roof. And look at that, it's actually attached a shelter to the building as well. That's clever. This game, very clever. Now, I've just built that as if I'm going to build a tunnel because I'm playing as if I have actual money in the bank when everyone knows I don't. So we'll sort of set this up for future expansion. That's not what I wanted to click on. We'll make you a terminus for now, but eventually we will need to. Let's just price a tunnel out because we are going to probably tunnel here eventually. £12,000 won't be going that way. We'll be going around, doing it in a sing-song voice for no reason. Connecting you up like that. That's too much. Ta-da! We have now connected up to Ginbury City. Ginbury? Where's our train? I'm used to Transport Fever where you get a cute little window. How are you going for profit? See, there you go. Now that we've got the servers bedded in, it is August and he is $3 grand up. Now this takes into account his running cost as well as any profit made. So last year he made £160. Can't argue with that. Brand new train. We will need to extend. Stop using the mouse to scroll. We will extend you from Farnwell. That's Farnwell there. Yep, up to Ginbury City. Back to Farnwell. And then we should probably consider a second train because now the spacing is going to get so much that people will be rocking up at Seesaw going, oh, no train for 4 days. Or in this case, how fast is time going? There's no train for 4 months. So as you can see, the ratings have definitely dipped down at Seesaw because the train is no longer serving them frequently, and they think I'm mediocre. They're not terribly impressed with me. So I've been clicking on things that I didn't mean to click on, so we'll get rid of all that guff. How much is a new train going to cost me? We figured that was about 20 grand. Yeah, let's borrow a bit. We can. How much can we borrow? We can borrow up to 500k. Okay, well we don't need that much. We'll borrow about 20 grand for now. Get another spinner, and we'll get another couple of passenger carriages. I know I said I shouldn't build too many passenger carriages, and obviously this chappie here is running with the back two empty most of the time, but I also don't want to have to micromanage too much. Okay, that's a bad example. He's completely empty. So if I control click on that train, he will share orders, and if I make a change to one train's route, it will change both of them. So if I was to delete Farnwell, both trains would lose Farnwell, which is just a really handy feature, because when you sort of group your trains together, you can make changes to your line all in one go. Obviously in Transport Fever you change the actual line, but this game is 30 years older or so. So we just do it our way. Ooh, new forest being planted near Tudwich. Oh, that farm is not going to be happy about that. Oh, phooey. Acham. Oh, that sounds familiar. Where was that? That was... Oh, there's Tudwich. There's Acham. Oh, that's actually sort of the way we're going. Did we have a sawmill down here? No, so less do we care. When playing Transport Tycoon, I like to sort of add to the challenge by making myself connect everything up to one network so we can share vehicles. I will often send vehicles back to the depot, and instead of selling them, I'll just store them, because in this game when things are parked, they don't cost a cent. So it's our new train chuffing along. And we should have some passengers waiting up at Jinbury City. Oh, we do. Oh, Jinbury City is really delivering. So 15 passengers have just showed up for a joyride. 12 passengers are going to Farnwell, which is, I think, the next town over. So that's something. But I want to connect up Jinbury City down to Jenny City, if I could please. We'll probably... Is Treepool the city as well? No. Okay, we'll probably just peel a new line out from this sort of terminus we've got going on here. I'd like to start building the station halls, but we don't want to get too fancy yet. Eventually we'll probably end up taking over this part of the town here and turning it into a station, because I like building grandiose passenger stations that outsize the town. So it'd be like if Sydney had a train station that was as big as the harbour. It doesn't make sense, but looked cool, so whatever. Deal with it. What are you going to do? Watch someone else's channel? Please don't. Please stay. I get lonely. What else are we going to build? We'll build some benches for people to sit on. Yeah, that's nice. And we'll put another planter box down for now. And we'll leave it at 3 for now. I normally build my passenger stations up to about 4 or 5 tiles long, but I mean, we're not even using the 3 we've got there, and we're probably paying maintenance costs. I just realised. And we're broke. Easily enough, we'll just borrow a bit of money there. Problem solved. So run a passenger line out here. Have a bit of a corner. Yeah, the corners in this game, not always the prettiest. They're sort of 45-degree angle. And in fact, you can actually have 90-degree curves. You could have a train do that if you really wanted to. I really don't want to do that. In fact, I've actually disabled trains from making those 90-degree turns in the options because... Ugh. But yeah, it's not terribly realistic to have a railway line making such a sharp corner. But you know what? We're going to live with it because it's a fun game. We'll also need some sort of depot. Let's see if we're going to build this track down here like this. That's going to sort of come in there. That's not really going to work too well with a depot, is it? So if we build a track sort of there. I would like to put the depot there, but I think that's going to be, yeah, 8 grand as opposed to 600 grand. Not 600 grand. That'd be stupid. 600 pounds. So we'll just sort of leave it like that for now. Connect everything up like that. Chuck some signals down. And all is good in the hood. Now, are we going to go over this hill? No, we'll probably just go around it. We're already taking enough of a detour anyway, so what does it matter? I will just... that bit, though. connect you up down this way. And we've got options. We can always later build a junction up to Nindingstone, which is another stupid name. We can have a ferry going to Exley from Jenny City and Nindingstone. I don't like the name of Jenny City. I'm renaming it again. I need a good town name. We'll just name it after a suburb in Sydney. Call it Parramatta. That'll do. And we'll add city to it because that way we know it's a city. Yeah, that'll do. That's cool. Parramatta. Rolls off the tongue. Not a place I visit terribly often, but it is a place that exists. Now again, we'll want a decent sized station with some terminus tracks and some through tracks because we'll have a line. Probably could end up just building a circle route actually. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But we will bookmark some sort of dead end platforms over here, say like that for now. And we will need some platforms to go with it. We'll build a station building as well. Let's build a nice big one. Parramatta City. It's going to be a big station in time. I'll just put a plant down. There we go. Just pop a nice little plant there. Yeah, it's going to be a big station in time. So let's just run a railway line out like that, and sort of connect that up like that. Put a couple of signals in, and I reckon this route will be where we start to make some money. We'll connect you up. Oh, look at that, nearly perfect, but we're out of money. Problem solved. Just borrow more money. What could possibly go wrong? Answer, nothing. Nothing could possibly go wrong. In fact, nothing has ever gone wrong in the history of this save game. We're going to go bankrupt fairly quickly, aren't we? Offer of subsidy has now expired for that wood route. So if we'd started building it sort of a month or two ago and we didn't have the train set up in time, we would have missed out, and woe would be us. There are now no subsidies on offer, which is a shame. I like the passenger subsidies because you're going to transport passengers anyway, so why not make a bit of extra money off them? If I do see a coal one come up, I'll jump on that like a fat guy on cake. I know that discriminates against cake, but what are you going to do? So we'll take another spinner, and we'll take another mail coach, and we'll say 3 6-wheelers there. Now we'd like you to go from Jinbury City. You belong to that depot, and if you could run the route down to Parramatta City, that'd be fantastic. Now, because we now have 2 train routes set up that don't sort of go through to the same destinations, but they connect through Jinbury City Station. We'll call this Jinbury Terminal. Nope, we'll call it Grand Central. That's better. That's a inspired name. We will eventually see passengers changing. Obviously, there's no one on there because the people that wanted to go anywhere have naffed off towards Farnwell. And 2 bags of mail via Farnwell. Okay, so no one's interested in going to Parramatta yet. But hopefully we'll start getting people from Farnwell who want to jump on this train. Okay, not many, but people do exist. And want to come up to Jinbury City and change to go to Parramatta City. Now the disadvantage of that is that the game calculates your profit. It calculates it in stages, so it'll calculate the profit from Farnwell to Jinbury and say, well, you know what, that's a reasonably straight line. Here's some money, so this train here will be quite happy with himself. However, when it calculates the final leg, it'll calculate Jinbury City to Parramatta, but it'll also take into account that they've come from Farnwell, and it'll say, well, you've come all the way from the moon to Earth via the sun. Yes, Jinbury City is the sun. And it'll say, well, I don't think that's very worthwhile. So the train that does the final route, because it's gone out of its way over a direct route, it will not make as much profit, and it may actually make a loss. Often I see buses making a loss because the game has calculated, you know, that you've come from Farnwell, Jinbury City to Parramatta City Station, and then because they've come from the station here on a tiny little bus down to here, it'll say, well, gee, that took too long, and the buses end up hemorrhaging money, which, you know, doesn't matter because the trains make more than enough money to pay for the buses. But it is annoying getting the notification down the bottom saying, this bus is losing money. Oh, so this bus is losing money too. Yeah, it happens way more than I'd like. So how are we going for money profiting? So these guys, this grey circle here will turn into a colour when when the trains are rateable, for want of a better term. Basically what it means is if the train is earning enough in a year to replace itself, so when it gets old you don't have to save money or borrow money, if it can earn enough in a year to buy a new train, it will be green to say, hey, if this train gets old, you can replace it without having to worry about it. If it's making a profit but not really making enough of a profit to replace itself, it will be yellow, saying, hey, just a heads up, if this train comes due for replacement, you might have to save up or borrow. And if it's red, it means it's doing an awful job and should be shamed. Probably in the town square where people can throw rotten tomatoes at it. Now, I'm really liking this sort of coastal route up here. I'm wondering if we don't start another train from Jinbury City up through Treepool to St Breadcrumbs and onwards, or if we just extend the existing line up a bit more and just sort of run with it. One thing I've forgotten to do is build our headquarters. Now I like look at Parramatta City. That's a nice big town. We're going to have a good presence down here, so I'm going to build HQ on the outskirts of town there, and that cost me £76 that I probably didn't need to spend. Look at our company details there, but I much prefer to look at it from the infrastructure window because it shows me the price. Fairly sure that's actually the same window. It is. Okay, whoops, did not see the dollar amount when I clicked on it last time. So we're paying at the moment sort of nearly $4,000 for infrastructure, which eats into our overall profit. Okay, obviously these are bad numbers, but that's because we are getting dragged down by construction and new vehicles. So, if you took that out of it, we're making $10,000 in income. We're losing sort of $7,500 on recurring costs. So I like that it separates the finance window up, so you can sort of say, oh well, these two numbers here, we're making a profit. We're solvent as long as we stop building stuff and we don't close the finance window. I'll pay that loan down. I'm going to let the game run, so we will cut forward to a state where we've got a bit of money and we can do a bit more building. Okay, having let the game run for a while, we're not making a lot of money each year. We're making a little bit, making about $3,000, so that's not really conducive to long-term gameplay. So I will need to keep borrowing and keep building. Still no sort of freight options on the horizon that I can see. I mean, I would like to get this iron ore down to the steel mill with the coal, but we've then got to cart the steel all the way up to this factory. And you know what? That's actually really close to the iron ore mine. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make that happen. Let's build a overly dramatic freight route to really go all in. We're gonna go hard or go home. I like the option of going home. It's winter in Australia at the moment, and it's warm at home. And I can lie down, but that's just me being a lazy sod. So we will need to borrow a big chunk of our available money. Now let's see, we've got this little bump in the line at Dintchester here, so maybe we want to route the steel and iron ore down through Dunberg Bay down to the steel mill at, I'm sorry, I'm renaming this Garfield. It's happening. It's Garborn. It's just a stupid name. Garfield. Incidentally, this town does hate Mondays. I have it on good authority. Now, by doing that, we will also have a line that will let us take passengers from Parramatta City down to Dunberg Bay, Roningdor, and Garfield. So, it's not all bad. And then, of course, we can connect up to Teed Grove from Garfield around like that. So, yeah, I'm not completely dissatisfied with our options here. But first things first, we want to get this freight line set up. So we will need to build a freight station. Now we got a couple of options here. We got the freight stations that go with the passenger station set, or we've got these suitable whiz-bang fancy cargo stations, including this rather spiffy steel mill station, which is sort of modelled on the base steel mill, just with a bit of rusty texture in. And if you place it really close to the steel mill, it'll sort of blend in and look really cool, like an extension of the steel mill. So let's just boom that down there. Let's borrow and then boom that down there. We'll stick it near the coast there, so that if needed we can sort of attach a shipping dock to it, because maybe we'll ship some steel down for some reason, or maybe we'll ship iron ore and coal in from this island down here. That might be a thing that we want to do. So we'll keep this on the flat as much as possible, he says as he comes up to his first hill, because what I'm thinking is we can run the passenger train perpendicular to it at the level above, forming a cute little bridge over the top of our steel mill. That's right, I described a train bridge as cute. What are you going to do about it? Again, please don't leave. I get lonely. So we'll start carving out this landscape a little bit. Now, landscaping is expensive, it's dead money, etc., etc. But I want to have a bit of a run-up for our loaded steel train to have a crack at that hill so that he doesn't sort of just stall. Now, we'll need to build the freight line up towards this coal mine as a matter, because obviously if we can share the track, we can minimise that inevitable infrastructure payment. Now the reason I have the transparency options open is because I can make the trees disappear, and see, if I'd missed that, we would have had lost trains, because the train would have quite happily wandered off onto the tracks and I'm going to the steel mill, and then it would have gotten down here and gone, I don't know where I'm going, because some plonker built a track with a hole in it. I am that plonker. Plonker, that's a funny word. So let's just build, we want the freight buffer stop. We'll pop that down there. And we'll pop down a coal loader. Let's just put a little short one in, and that puts a cute little fence on the platform, on the station rather, just in case you've got some sort of wild animal that wants to come down from the hills and maul our workers. That got dark quickly. How are we going for landscape? It's not too bad. We will just put a bit of a curve in here. We will borrow some more money. Yeah, so this route, we are going all in. We are going to be spending a lot of cash on it. And then I'll obviously need to run the game a bit. What are you going to cost me for the tunnel? 5 grand. If it avoids the train going up a hill, I'm all for it. Now let's just build down around here where we will rejoin up with the inevitable passenger line. I'm detecting a theme here. We're going to need to borrow a lot of money. Let's turn the trees back on because, well, while it's easier to play the game with the trees off, it is not terribly realistic, and then you don't know where you're knocking trees over, so when you come to a town and say, oh, I'd like to build a station, they just snub you and thumb their noses at you and say, pish posh, we don't want to entertain your kind here. Oh, look at that, we're at Parramatta already. So we'll need to sort of allow room for a passenger station extension. Yeah, we can get sort of 3 platforms, probably eventually up to 4, and we will connect up like that. Good. Now we can make use of existing trackage. Now we'll put a nice big passing loop in here so that, you know, we're prepared for the future. We want to drive on the left. We'll put down a couple of block signals here. Just drag and drop them in like that. Just a few just normal autos there. These are obviously controlled signals protecting the junction, and these just default to clear unless there is a train in the block ahead. We'll also need another passing loop on this line here to let the trains pass. Obviously this will be a candidate for double tracking in the short to medium term. Now, are you going to get confused? You probably will, so I'm just going to switch you around like that. Because I put the signals back to front, he was probably going to come up to the back of this signal and get confused. So that's why I just had to turn him around to make the game recalculate his path. Now, we were heading up this way. I definitely don't want to go over this mountain here. Oh, we've got a couple of iron mines up here. I was looking at this one, but we've got this fella here. Ooh, I'm not hating this. Obviously, the difficult part will be A, getting over this river, and B, getting through Tree Pool. Hopefully, we can kill 2 stones with 1 bird. If we go up and over the river and then stay elevated, we can come through Tree Pool, similar to how we came through Dintchester. I was going to call it Deadingstone for some reason. After playing a lot of Transport Tycoon, eventually you just start coming up with town names by yourself, and the game would probably suggest them because the game just randomly suggests silly names. So we'll raise the land up like that there. We'll put a cute little bridge in. We'll put a concrete one in. It's not ugly. I swear I used to have a viaduct, but obviously that has disappeared. Definitely don't want the stupid wooden bridge. That's only 32 km an hour, so we'll take a concrete suspension bridge. Clearly I haven't loaded some graphics I was supposed to because let's just have a bit of a timeout there. Have I missed a bridge set? Speak up if you see something about bridges. There we go. Total bridge renewal set version 1.12. Why do I have 2? I don't know. I'm going to try and activate that, and if it all goes horribly wrong, well, you won't see this bit because I'll have cut it out. But if you do see it and it works, well, then hopefully we have some new bridges. So yes. Please don't crash. The game didn't crash, but it gave me an error. Loading TTRS bridges is useless. You should disable TTRS bridges if you lack of free memory. I don't know what TTRS bridges are. I don't see them there. It might be something to do with the total town replacement set. Let's have a look at set parameters. Well, it's got the bridges activated, so okay. Close. Close. And oh, there we go. We've now got a very fancy modern concrete bridge, and we've completely glitched out the railway window. Let's just get rid of that. Whoops-a-daisy. Here we go. Now we've got a viaduct back. Okay, we'll waste a bit of money here, but oh, isn't that beautiful? We'll waste a lot of money here, but isn't that... Oh, that's just gorgeous. A little sandstone viaduct there with quite a sharp ramp, but what are you going to do? Just gonna run with it, aren't we? We don't really have an option. We'll put another passing loop in here. In fact, I might actually just double track this section now. We're going to do it sooner rather than later. So, and then we'll connect this bit up once we've got trains going. Oh, not Fun Hall! Oh, they are now Sands Engineer Yard. That's disappointing. Don't know where Fun Hall is, and I have no interest in delivering things to an engineer's yard at this stage, if not ever. We'll put down signals. We really need this freight route going because we are just hemorrhaging money. See, there we go. I fiddled with the signals, and see, he did exactly what I thought he was going to do before. So we'll just turn you around. And now he's not lost anymore. Yay! I'm a hero, even though I caused the problem to begin with. Yay! Good work, idiot. We'll need to go through Tree Pool, and because Tree Pool is quite fittingly surrounded by trees, Tree Pool, we are going to need to build our station for the passenger route before we go ahead and knock down all those trees. So I'm thinking we can sort of squeeze one in this area here. So we'll throw down a couple of platforms just like this. Where do we want to put that? If we put it, we'll put it sort of here, I guess. That'll do. It's happened. It's done. No taking it back. I could bulldoze it, but I don't want to. We'll put in a nice little underpass. Not like that. Misclick. Get rid of that bit. And we've got a bit of railway line to get rid of it as well. Our little secret, don't tell anyone. Seriously, don't tell anyone. I'll find you. I'll know. And this is becoming a theme. Still 200 grand left in the loan, which is not as much of a loan as we had before, but I think we can get away with it. If not, well, this video will never get to air because I'll just have to start again, won't I? So we'll keep running the line down like this. Now, see, I've built too much track. I've knocked down a fair few trees around Tree Pool. Might have to change it to Tree Less Pool. As you can see, they now think I'm poor. They're not too happy with me. Now, the consequences of that means, as well as not being able to knock down buildings, they'll still let me. They will stop letting you build stations in their town. They'll say, nah, you know what? You're an environmental catastrophe, which was my nickname in high school, and we don't want you or your business. So we'll build a line down here. Hopefully St. Breadcrumbs will not hate us for doing so. Now we've got to ford this river somewhere. I'm thinking we've got a reasonable crossing point over here. I swear there was an iron ore mine there a few minutes ago. If this iron ore mine buggers off as well, or that factory closes, I'm going to have the most epic of shits. Although we do have another factory at Acham, which is up a hill, so it's less desirable than the New Bunthwaite factory. And then ironically, if we had the New Bunthwaite factory, we could we could sort of produce some lumber and bring it in there from the nearby forest. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Way ahead of ourselves. Well, in that case, if this iron ore mine's naffed off, we'll just build our crossing point here. Put another viaduct in, they look nice. And we will put that in there like that. And then come down here. Let's get rid of the trees again because they're annoying. Look, you could never even tell there was an iron ore mine there. I'll fetch it to... Try that again. Now I'll go over about there. And we're nearly there. Looks like we've got a few good options for suburban trains out of New Bunthwaite too. We've got with Ploodingsay Bridge. There is no bridge there. False advertising. You are now Ploodingsay. New Bunthwaite Factory. That's where we're going. So let's just borrow up a bit more. Let's just smash that down. We will need the freight station, please. We'll throw down a couple of buffer stops there. That scared me. I thought it was going to say that the factory was closing, in which case I would have had a colossal hissy fit. And let's build some sort of a nice little platform here. Small sheds, well, we're not doing agricultural trade. We've got modern goods sheds, probably a bit ahead of our time, and we can't build these ones down here. Oh, we can build old warehouses though. I don't want to. Let's just start off with some nice just grass, and we can always add eye candy in later. Because we are obviously on a budget. Whoop! That didn't line up terribly well. That's fine. I don't care. I don't. I'll keep telling myself I don't care, and eventually I will believe it. We'll throw in some from track there, make it look all fancy. We'll chuck a depot in. Okay, we've got the factory set up. We need to connect up this iron ore mine. Geez, you're going to be interesting to build a train station too, aren't you? You're going to be a real pain in the bum. What are we going to do up here? We'll set up freight stations. We'll set up a coal loading station here. Obviously we won't be loading coal, we'll be loading iron ore. And we'll put a nice little fence in, just at the end there. Again, protecting from marauders and animals that come down from the hills and want to eat us. That's what animals do, right? Chuck a passing loop in here just to keep everything hunky-dory. Like that. That was fairly straightforward. Chuck a signal in there. And a couple of departure signals in there. Okay, so we've got all the infrastructure set up. Stop using the mouse, you dumbass. Everything is set up. All we need are some trains. And boy howdy are we running a long route. Oh good. That's right, we renamed this town to Garfield. Okay, well, without much ado, we really need to set these trains up. We also need a depot down here somewhere. Yeah, that's going to be inconvenient. You know what? We'll just use a... Stop closing industries! We'll just put some sort of fancy depot in over here, I guess. We'll just chuck it in on that track there, just to give us a suitable jumping off point. Now we'll use the 060 goods, because obviously we are building a goods train. Right. I hope we can afford all these trains. We'll set you up. We'll make you 3 tiles long. I'm pretty sure that this engine can handle it. Now in this graphic set you need a brake fan, otherwise all of your trains, or your freight trains rather, have their speed reduced by I think 10 to 25% depending on what the setting is. I can't remember what the setting is. You're going to carry coal, and you will be... No, stop using the mouse, use the arrow keys. You'll be full loading there, please. And you'll be running the coal down there. Good. Now, we are very quickly going to exhaust. We'll very quickly fill that up with coal, but we'll just have to deal with that. So that's our first train underway. I don't want to dick around too much because we need to get iron ore going. I'm going to double head this one, probably to my detriment. In fact, definitely to my detriment. We'll make this 5 tiles long. That's how long I built the station up here. Stop using the mouse. Force a habit from transport fever. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we built it 5 tiles long. Good. You go there, full load with iron ore. Stop closing industries, you gibbon. Come down to the steel mill and unload, please. And I forgot to make you belong to a depot, Mr. Coal Train. but that's okay. You belong to this depot. That's fine. Oh, he's only got one depot to choose from. He'll probably just default to there. And we want you to carry iron ore, please. Go forth and load up with... Train 5 is lost. How are you lost? You want to go to Tudwich Mines? Well, Tudwich Mines is just up here. How can you not... No, how can you not find your way there? Okay, let's just go back. If he's come out of the depot, he would have turned right. He can go up through there, up through here. Did I not put a set of points in here? No, he can get through there, over the bridge, through the station. There's the problem. Idiot. Forgot to put a set of cross tracks in there. So we will need to turn you around. I'll just hit hyperspeed. Now, pass that signal and stop. You don't want to. No, of course, because there's a train in the way. We'll just throw a signal down like that then. Yes, good. Now, go past the loop, turn around, and we'll get rid of that signal. Good. Now, go forth and load. We will also need some sort of steel train. We'll just build a little one for now. Mostly because we can't afford anything bigger. We'll build flat wagons for that. We'll build it 3 tiles long for now. Can I get away with... Oh, I might be able to get away with an extra wagon there. Oh, exactly 3. That's fantastic. Pay the loan down for that little extra that we have. And we'll send you to full load there, please. Now you belong to that depot. And we will send you all the way up here. I'm going to live to regret this. Actually, we'll make you belong to that depot as well. Okay, go. I told you to full load. I didn't refit you to carry steel, though, so go back to the depot. We want you to carry steel, please. And off you go. Now, hopefully, these freight trains will start turning a profit, because as long as they pay for themselves, it's fine, because the passenger trains, although they're doing... This one's doing all right. They're not supporting themselves, let alone other trains. Stop closing industries. Why did I open that window? So, what's this current usage business? That's new. I don't know what that actually means. I don't know if that's 11% of possible cargo or 11% of trains I'm allowed to build. So there is a maximum number of trains you can build. I just don't know what it is. That's not what I want. What would it be under? Limitations, probably. How many oh, there we go. I can build 500 trains. So, no, it's obviously not how many trains I can build, because that's not 14% of 500. No, who knows? I'm sure it has some relevance somewhere. Now, if we stay in the red too long, we will get declared bankrupt and sold off. So, hopefully we can start making a profit reasonably quickly. I just need these trains to make a bit of money. Oh, we did not build any passing loops down here. So, all of our trains are going to jam up. So, we'll have to dig into the old loan a bit. And we'll have to make sure that our trains can pass. So, yeah, we'll need to put a loop in here, say. Not here, say, but here. Say here. No, there's a bump there. We don't want that. I know I'm pressed for cash, but I'm still gonna get rid of any unnecessary bumps. So I'll pop you in like that. Pop you in like that. Pop a couple of intermediate signals in. Of course, that's going to bugger up the poor old steel train. So we'll click on the steel train. We'll turn him around again. He will recalculate and go down the correct track. Good. We'll also need another passing loop in the middle here somewhere at some point. But for now, we're just going to have to survive without it, aren't we? Well, so we've managed to get the nice bridge in. But, of course, it's buggered up the road. So, without the bridges turned on, that's really annoying. I wonder if that's an option we can change. Nope. We want to put new graphics settings. Let's see if we can fix that. This is a problem with using multiple new graphic sets, as sometimes you have conflictions. Okay, I don't know what that does. It should be the options for it. Okay, so let's have a look at what do we have the options for the bridges here. Infrastructure, used to... No, I wanted to use the roads and bridges, but I just want to turn it off for for the roads. Like I want to turn the road off. That's annoying. I guess we're just gonna have to put up with having an ugly road on the bridges. Sorry about that. We're just gonna have to deal. It's fine. You get these little things. Oh, don't you dare! You did not just close that factory. Oh, I'm gonna have a colossal tantrum now. Oh, this game. Right, so we've only got 20 grand in loan available to us, and we now need to reroute this bloody steel train. We'll get him to stop before he starts trying to load steel. So we'll just stop you there. Okay. This is annoying. So we're now going to have to reroute that steel train. Did you just close the... Oh no, the factory's up there. You just closed something else, didn't you? What did you close? No, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, you closed the factory that I was planning on using, and you closed Tanningville Sawmill as well. Yeah, oh, I'm aware. Thank you for pointing that out to me, you dick game. Frack 'em. Yeah, so we're going to have to reroute the steel up here, which involves climbing hills, and I don't think this train can really handle it. It's going to be annoying. We don't have the money for this. Let's just demolish that, because we need to cash in on some of our railway tracks to build more railway tracks. Okay, let's get rid of that. Like that. Okay, so we're gonna have to come up this hill here. Okay, that's 3 grand already. This is not going well. We're gonna have to come up here, and we've got a second hill we have to climb. No, we won't climb it there. We will climb it over this way. We'll cut across here. Really getting close to the end of our bank balance. I don't want to borrow the last 10 grand. Oh, our maximum loan's increased. Oh, the game has some mercy. Thank heaven for that. We'll drop a station in there as far away as possible. And I don't know why I built 2 platforms before. I was trying to future-proof, and that was a complete waste of time because all we did was demolish it. I won't bother building a depot up there because God knows we probably won't end up making it here. So you will now come up here to unload. Okay, go. Okay, good. Our coal train is coming in, hopefully making a delivery, getting us some decent coin there. He's disappeared into the shed. I'm assuming that's where the coal is unloaded. So now that we have coal at the steel mill, you can see the furnace has flared into life. Oh, 4 grand. Yes, please. But now we have 80 tons of coal waiting. Now, the problem with a steel mill is if we get a surplus of coal or iron ore, the steel mill will stop accepting it. So, unlike in the original Transport Tycoon game, when industries were a bottomless pit, you could just literally just keep delivering to a steel mill as much. In fact, they didn't even accept coal in those days. That's part of the mods that I have installed. They would just accept iron ore until they were blue in the face, and if you didn't transport any steel, they didn't care. They'd just keep producing steel till the cows came home. And you know, it just disappeared into the ether. But now we need to try. Are you shitting me, game? Are you legitimately... Supply problems? Well, I just delivered coal. Okay. Right, okay, so I found an autosave from a couple of months before the steel mill decided to close. I know that's technically cheating, but I really couldn't give a damn. So I still need to rebuild this line up here to the factory, which we will just do now. Where do you accept stuff? You accept stuff there. So we'll just fix this up again for the second time. We'll just run it across like that. That lines up, doesn't it? There we go. And we will re-borrow that. We will connect that up, and we will just redirect our steel train over to that new factory. Nope. There we go. Need to click on the train. So we'll ditch those orders there, and you will go up there, please. Off you go. Good. That was very frustrating. Yes, I hate it when an industry closes down just after you've actually made a cargo delivery or you have cargo en route. It is very annoying. I think every month the game checks every industry, and if it's not being supplied or has not been supplied in a certain period, it randomly determines if that industry lives or dies. And even open industries like this. Oh, this iron ore mine is pathetic. 24 tons of iron ore a month. Ugh, hopeless. This is probably not going to be profitable, and we'll probably end up closing it down. Also note that the primary industries like iron ore and coal mines have a expected lifespan. So in this case, we have dug out 0% of an approximate 96,000 tons. That is only an approximate number. The closer it gets to that number, the more likely it is to close down. But this could and probably will close down at any time. It'll probably close down very shortly, given our track record so far. I should turn the trees back on because the land looks a bit moonscapey without them. Oh, there was another subsidy offered from New Bunthwaite Forest to Connors Ridge Sawmill. We should probably look to setting that up in a few years' time because, well, we can transport the lumber up to the factory up here. We'll have to do something about those goods in time. Probably transport them to New Bunthwaite or down to Parramatta even. No, stop using the mouse. Mouse bad. Keyboard good. You don't accept goods. Would the town accept goods if I supplied them? Yes. Okay, good. Good. Goods good. Good goods. Well, there goes another industry. They're dropping like flies. Unfortunately, more aren't opening up as quickly as they are closing. But yeah, so we've got this coal train running back and forth. He is making quite a tasty profit there, which is going to go a long way towards making a solvent, because last year we were down 230 grand. Not great. So this year we spent 11 grand on construction and we are 12 grand in the hole. So, you know, once the iron ore train and the steel train start running back and forth and paying for themselves, that should address this gap here between income and costs. Obviously our infrastructure costs have spiked because we have now a very large railway line spanning the map for currently no purpose. Literally, we have all this track here and nothing running on it. Oh, I tell a lie, the iron ore train is actually on the move. Now, how are you going? You're costing a lot of money. Let's just fast forward, follow the train, and we will just see how much that's going to cash in for. Hopefully it will pay for itself. So here we are approaching the steel mill following the iron ore train. I had that stupid steel mill close down on me again just as the iron ore train got into the station last time. So we had to reload an old autosave and try a third time because I've put too much blood, sweat and tears into this to have it fall over now. I also threw in another passing loop here just because, well, it didn't seem to make much sense having the coal train occupy this section the entire time it was running without any passing opportunities. Now, thinking about it, I'm wondering if the second engine on this train is actually going to be worthwhile or if it's just going to be a burden, because we've only got the one hill to get up and that's this one here. So if we can do it with a single engine, we will save a lot of money, because currently this thing costs three and a half grand a year to run. So we could get that cost down significantly if we don't actually need the second engine on the front. As cool as double heading is, I mean, look at it. Just look at it. Look at it. See, they're not really losing much speed on the grade. I reckon one engine probably could handle that train. Oh no, down to 40. I really want to persist with 2, because as the train gets longer, we'll be needing to use double heading as a matter of course. But for now, yeah, stop closing industries down, you jerk. So hopefully, I did do a run of iron ore before, just to make sure that the stupid steel mill didn't close down on us. Okay, cash in, get us some big money, please. Cha-ching! Oh, there we go. That will pay for itself in time then. He just won't be making very frequent deliveries, unfortunately. How are we going for iron ore? Not great. We've got way too much coal going. We might actually have to stop the coal train from running, because as you can see, the coal stockpile is nearing its maximum level. How are you going? You're slowly loading up a steel. Of course, you're hemorrhaging money while you're loading, which is frustrating. If once this thing runs out of iron ore, I'm just going to send the... Ooh, that's not a good number. I'm just going to send the steel train on its way, loaded or not, just so it A, it turns a profit, and B, the stupid factory doesn't close on us. In fact, just go now, because I can just see that stupid factory shutting down, and you know, bad things happening to my computer and the surrounding area. But yeah, once you've made your next delivery, Mr. Coltrane, I'm going to stop you until we can sort of build our iron ore reserves up at the steel mill, because the iron ore mine we have up here, unfortunately the other one closed. This one is producing 5/10 of bugger all. So we've got 63 tons waiting at the station. I mean, the long journey time will help to avoid long turnaround times, but I mean, where is that iron ore train? It's completely naffed off. It has just disappeared. So somehow my train has entered the Bermuda Triangle, or it was in a tunnel. I probably the tunnel is the more realistic option. Yeah, still considering. You know what? I'm going to do it. Go to the depot. We're taking off that. Ooh, when you put the game to hyperspeed, it also makes the scroll speed of the map move around go a lot faster. We're taking that engine off. I'm just gonna park it here. No, I don't want to be on hyperspeed anymore. I'm just gonna park it there, and we'll just see how we go with one engine for now. I could throw some extra wagons on. The train is now of a length that it would allow me to put more wagons on and still fit in the platform. But I don't want to push the friendship. Oh, there is another hole. No, there is no. The bump's here. I thought there was another bump in the track. So yeah, so you're only 45% loaded even after a full return journey. So this, yeah, I know you're losing money. I don't care. Yeah, I know you're losing money. I don't care either. That iron ore mine is not doing a great job. We might actually have to go to 2 smaller trains just to keep the frequency of deliveries up, which is something I'm keen to avoid because, well, more trains means more running costs, and more running costs means less profit. We do have oil wells over here. Obviously, we ran out of iron ore in the ground, and we found oil instead. We've got a clay pit here. How long has that been there? Has that been there the whole time? Clay pit. We can transport clay down to... Well, there was a brickworks here. I think it was here. Now it's gone. Unless the brickworks was down here somewhere. Well, if it was, it's gone as well. That's frustrating. I thought I saw another production chain we could link up. I think our passengers are still making money though. This one's not making much money. This one's making a reasonable profit though, and train 3 is just losing money. And I'd say that's because of people coming from... Oh no, there is a brickworks here. Yeah, okay, well there's a new brickworks here. How much loan can we get? 550 grand. That's probably not going to be enough. And because we're in the red, we've already taken 10 grand of it. Good work. Because we have a spare engine. All we need is some wagons and a little bit of track and a triangle. Okay, the shopping list of things to do is building up. Let's get that going. Let's make it happen. Hopefully we can turn a profit off that. We want a freight buffer there. Just build a piddly little station here. This won't be a big train. We'll just run a siding in there. We'll move this signal down a bit, and we'll throw another one on the siding. So he can come out onto the main line here. He can use existing track up here. We will need to put that triangle in, as I have threatened. Well, this is the first time I've threatened it, but I've made good on my threat. Oh, good. We're back in the black now. We'll put a triangle in there. I'm actually no. I don't like the way that looks. That's ugly, and it should be ashamed of itself because it can help it. I don't care what people say. So we'll run this down here. Now to avoid conflicts, I will extend that out like that, and we will just get rid of that there. That's all right. That's quite functional, and that's double track this section here. However, I will not use the double track. I'll extend the triangle up from here instead. I said I will extend the triangle up from here instead, just to avoid any conflicts and allow for future expansion. So that'll let this clay train just end up on its own own little track there. We'll double track this down here, put the requisite signals in. All for that one loss-making passenger train. I hope it feels special. It should definitely feel special. So we'll run the train up here on the existing track, over the bump here, down here to this clay siding. I'll throw in a buffer stop, and we will put in a mineral loader. Please, just three. There we go. And connect you up there. We'll have to put a passing loop in here now because the steel train is now sharing the track with Chris the clay train. That's right, I named it. We'll put it now. We're too close to the existing passing loop there. We'll just throw it in up here, I guess, sort of in the middle. I'll chuck it in there. I said we'll chuck it in there. That's a good length, I'm sure. Probably. We'll just hook you up like that. And we'll put a couple of following signals in like that there. Nope, get rid of the track. Good, so coming from here, down here to the brickworks, that's all connected. Let's use this existing loco that we bought earlier. Oh, we've got the clerestory carriage. That's a pretty colour scheme, isn't it? We need to make you 3 tiles long, please. We will just refit you to carry clay. And we want you to go up here. I want you to full load here, please. And I want you to unload here. And we'll say you belong to that depot, just for simplicity's sake. And off goes our clay train. Now these are the cute little China clay wagons with little tarps on them, or roofs, I can't tell. But he is now off on an adventure. We should probably start painting things too. Let's just follow along this train for something to look at. Our freight wagon, we want them to be, let's say, cream, and we'll keep our company colour on it. So click that. That did not change those wagons in the slightest. Let's find a different train to look at. That didn't change any of them. Okay. Oh, I changed the spikes on the steel train. Speaking of, you've turned a profit. Huzzah! Hopefully you will become a viable proposition as the years go on. What are you waiting for? Oh, you're waiting for the passenger train, which is still losing money. It sort of puts me off trying to double track right through Parramatta City, doesn't it? 4 passengers. Is it because there's no catchment for this station? Is it because the station is just too far out of town? We might have to set up an attendant bus service up here. Let's just build a bus depot. We can't afford it. Let's not do that. Let's instead borrow a little bit more cash and just chuck a bus station down there to try and get a bit more catchment in with the town. Not much. That's not great. We will have to get some sort of feeder service going to the station there in time to ensure that we can actually get passengers in there. I'd really love to extend the line down to Dunberg Bay because we've got the infrastructure all in place. We don't have any food processing plants up here, do we? Because we have that farm down there that's going to annoy us. We've got another farm up here anyway. No, just the factory. We also need to sort out transporting goods from the factory. Oh, no, okay, it won't stop producing just because it's not transporting goods. It will make the goods disappear into the ether still. I obviously still have the transport fever mindset where you need to transport things before you can actually start pumping an industry up. Because obviously if this was transport fever, we could produce steel and take it to the factory, but everything would grind to a halt if the factory was not transporting its goods anywhere. How are you going? Iron ore 752. Okay, so this station no longer accepts coal. So as you can see, the coal train is now heading back fully loaded. So he's probably done that a couple of times. He is now losing money instead of making it. So we'll hit the fast forward button, send him up to the mine, and just park him up for a little while. Because there's no point having him just run back and forth for no reason. So he will stop costing us money, but we're going to need to address the elephant in the room. I've called him Frank. He's reversed into a set of shelves and knocked everything over, unfortunately. But the elephant in the room is the fact that this iron ore train is not running anywhere near frequently enough. So do we have a second iron ore train? Do we manually start and stop that coal train? What do we do? Do we have any more iron ore up here we can tap into? No, we do. It's all the way over here though, and it's another shocking producer. I may have overextended with this initial freight line. Only time will tell. That time will, however, be next time. I'd like to keep this going though. So hopefully you've enjoyed our first adventure into the world of Transport Tycoon. Yeah, look, I'm going to leave things off here. So until next time, is that the clay pit we just started using? This game hates me. Seriously. Why would you hurt me? Why? Just as the first train arrives, you jerk. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by that stupid clay pit reducing production. I've been T-Nick. This has been OpenTTD, or Transport Tycoon, whatever you prefer to call it. But yeah, until next time, later days.